You're listening to WCAT Radio, your home for authentic Catholic programming.
Hello, seekers after Christ. This is Romuald, Simeone, author of Love Letters from Your Father, the Bible, Gospel of John, and I want to give you a little instruction on how to use the videos that I'm making and also how to read the book. Now, the videos, even though it's me speaking, and on these videos, I'm giving you sort of each chapter and verses that I mentioned, I'm giving you the sort of an idea of what it contains and a summary of how I see it and how I would explain it to persons in a classroom, persons in an audience, persons in a gathering. And what I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to impress you with my knowledge, and it's only my perspective and my view of what that chapter contains, to give you an idea of what's in that chapter, to excite you and to make you interested in that point and read it for yourself. Actually, reading the book is much more in detail and much more academic. So, if you have the book in front of you, you go sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, page by page, and you hesitate and you think about it. You try to absorb it. You try to understand what it is saying. So basically the same thing here. I'm telling you what I think it's saying, how it impresses me. And the whole point that we're talking about is that in each thing, it's not just to read a book or to listen to someone speaking. It's to be directed to the subject of that book. And the subject of the book, the real author of the book is God. The subject in the book is Jesus Christ. And someone is, like John, is putting down what he heard the Lord saying. But we're not going to focus on John. We're going to focus on the person that he's talking about. It's like when you see a movie. You have to place yourself into the situation, to the ambience, and to be one of the persons who is sitting there or standing there or even passing by and, oh, there's a crowd here and I want to hear what's happening. I'm curious. They say, well, there's a man talking. He's a prophet. He's talking about God. And he says he's the Son of God. Well, it's kind of exciting. You've seen not only a celebrity, but you think about God. You think about your conscience. You think about what God says to your conscience of what you've heard in churches, and say, well, what is the Bible? What is the book of John? It's called Revelation, what God is trying to say to me. Well, is God directly trying to say it to you? Well, he's trying to say it through his Son. His Son says, listen to me because I heard it from my Father. He is the one who's revealing. I'm revealing God to you. I'm revealing life to you. I'm revealing a way of life to you. And if you listen to that word, if you listen to what I'm saying, someone's going to write this down sometime. It's going to be permanent. It's for the whole human race. It's not just for you. It's for human beings. You as a human being should first of all listen. Place yourself into his presence. And when you are there, listen to what he says. So if he, for instance, is going by and you're at a temple and you see a man who's crippled and who's crippled from birth, and this man has been there for a long time, and this man is always trying to get why is he there at the temple? He's there because they said there's a pool of water, and that pool of water, when it's an angel touches it and it gurgles up and begins to mix, and we don't know when it's going to start or stop, that the first person that gets there is going to be healed. That's what it seems to be. But this man has been there for 38 years, and no one's been able to move him. He can hardly crawl to it, but he's there praying that in some way God is going to listen to him, that it's not going to be useless. We call it persevering. And here is someone coming by now who is saying he's the Son of God, but the man doesn't know it. And people are saying he's a prophet. He works miracles. And so he says, well, maybe he'll help me. Maybe this is an angel or a person God sent to help me. And he calls out to him. Or, even without calling out to him, a person stops by him and says, what are you doing here? And I tell him. And he looks at me and he says, well, it is the will of God. And I know God. And just stand up. He says these words, stand up, and something comes through me that he says it in a way that has meaning for me. And when it has meaning for me, I try to stand up, and lo and behold, I can. Go to the pool of Siloam. Do I crawl there? Do I walk there? What happens? Get up and walk. Everything that I prayed for is done. And you're watching this. And you're listening to it. And you see it. And who is the person that you face? The one who worked this wonder. You wonder whether that man really was a cripple? Well, why would he be there begging at the temple? Well, he'd be there crawling in the ground in that mat, people placing him there, whatever is happening, and everybody seems to know who he is. And there you are, you're thinking about this. You absorb it. Well, you're learning about this person called Jesus. That's why you listen to this video. What I propose to you as I speak in the video, and you pick up this book, the Bible, the Gospels of John, and you read it yourself. And you're absorbing it. And you're saying, is this fiction? Is it true? Well, then you say, well, everyone seems to know about Jesus. There's churches everywhere. He lived long ago, 2 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. But can he do it today? Can he do it for you? Can you reach him? Can you talk to him? You have your own problems. And when you have your own problems, you want to reach out. You want someone to handle it. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you're wearing a mask. You don't know really who you are. You've got a different face for each person that you know. One person, you give a smile. That's the face that they see. Person that you ignore, you're cold. They just see you passing by and you make no impression. Someone you hate knows that you hate them. They did something or they did something to you. They remember it every time they see you. They don't want to see you. That's 3 masks that you wear on your face. You're not the same person even to yourself. Sometimes you're lonely and melancholy and feel that no one cares about you. Other times you're happy because you feel that people are listening to you, that people are giving you attention. You're fulfilling your desire to be noticed, to be loved, to be cared for, to be concerned about. All different masks, all different attitudes, all different ways that you're with them. Well, what if you're meeting with Jesus? And you were a person spiritually crippled, that you were on that ground, that you feel that you couldn't go any lower. What would you do? You call out to him. Well, if you read that book, it's going to say that he says, I am with you all days, even to the end of time. If he's the Son of God, he's here in heaven. He's here. Here means with you. Means within your reach. He reaches out to you. So you talk to him. How do you talk to him? You listen to this video, and we're telling you the things that he said to people. He's saying to you, because he says he reaches out to everybody. He loves everyone. He loves every human being. He wants to make them reach out to his Father. And so he's concerned about you. He's alive. Pretend that he's alive. Wish that he's alive. And when you talk to him in these words, as you read that book, put yourself into it. Say, Lord, I'm alive. I need you. I want you in my life. You did that for someone, do it for me. So you begin to see him, not with your eyes, because you're only reading a book. You're only listening to a video. You're only listening to me. But if you believe, and if you wish it, and you want it, and you take those words and you apply them to yourself, then he can be alive to you. He's alive to everyone who listens to his word, because his word is a living word. It's not a dead word just written in a book. There's a lot of words written in books, but it's not a dead word. And you think about it, then you say, wow, this really reaches me. I love him for it. I love this person who shows compassion. He showed compassion to that man. who's crippled. Will he show compassion to me? Well, I hear a lot of people saying he does. It's called prayer. Prayer means talk to him. What will you say to him? When you talk to a person, remember these are love letters from your Father. It's a letter written to you, and you're writing a letter back to him. How do you respond to a letter? You take the words of that letter that he said to you, and you answer. You say, Lord, Master, friend, companion, you were all these things in this video, in this book. You claim to be human, that understands people, that goes searching for people that are in need. I'm in need. So, talk to me. And I read it. I say, I am that cripple. I am the person who was wishing that someone would come by and listen to me and give me attention. Would you love him for it? He's not an enemy. Coming to fulfill a need is not an enemy. You're safe. He doesn't come to abuse you. He doesn't come to hate you. He doesn't come to say, well, hey, you're sitting there wasting your time. Get up and walk. No, he says, I feel for you. I understand you. And I say to you, get up and walk. And so, when you see what your crippling fault is, or your problem is, where you can't do what you want to do in life, when you feel that you're hemmed in, that no one cares about you, that there's no purpose to even move, what is your answer to him? What is your need? Express it. Say it to yourself. What is my need? I feel that I'm alone. I feel that nobody cares. Connect yourself to him. And say, Lord, if you didn't care, you wouldn't be here. You cared so much that you went around looking for people. You went around talking to them. You went around reaching out to them. Whatever their need was. They're hungry and starving, but you fed them. It says, I give you the manna from heaven. God feeds the birds of the air. He'll feed you. So I express my need to you. When I express my need to you, and I believe you're listening to me, and I reach out to you, and I see what the result is. And at least when I watch what you do and your compassion to people, I want to follow you more closely. I want you to be part of my life. When you're part of my life, I thank you. And when you do something for me and you show concern, and then I meet someone else with a mask that pretends that they have no problems, and then they open up, and I find out that they also have a need, a similar need, that they feel unwanted, they feel alone, they feel rejected, they feel abused, they'll feel cast aside, and I'll tell them my experience. I'll tell them what you did for me. Tell them to reach out to you. It's not just reading a book. It's not reading words on a page. Reading about someone that's fiction. Someone who didn't exist. Someone who's not here. Because if he is God, if he's the Son of God, God is everywhere. He's here. He's here now. He's in me. He's within me. So when I open up the Bible, I'm not reading a story about someone who lived long ago that helped someone else up. I'm reading about someone who's here now, who helps me up. I'm going to try it. If I try it, I'm going to write it down. I'll write down a love letter. Say what happened. I feel energized. I feel encouraged. I'm going to try to get up and to follow what this word in the book says to me, what this person on the video is saying to me, and to say, well, I believe. I don't see him. I only see words on a page. I only see a video. But they're telling me that there's a person out there. And so many people seem to acclaim him. They build churches to him. They say he's there. He's here. That he's concerned about each person, especially persons in need. Persons who need him. So, where I'm at, am I really satisfied where I'm at? If I think I'm healthy, I think I'm happy in life, yeah, where am I at? Am I really happy? Am I happy with life? Do I just think that I have something active to do, gives me life? Am I always that way? At night, alone? Even with others? Do they really understand even what I say? What mask are they wearing? A mask of interest or disinterest? And I trust their word. They're saying Jesus is trustworthy at all times, that he knows me better than I know myself. If he does, and he still reaches out to me, then I really have a friend. I have a companion. And I say to him directly, he's talking to me now. I can hear him talking to me. Because who put these thoughts in my mind? Who put these desires in my heart? I know I have them, but now they're coming out and pouring out because I'm talking to him in a book, him in an inspiration, him because someone else says that he talks to them. And whatever happens, I'll see what happens. I'm going to open this book. I'm going to read a line of it. I'm going to see what he says to me. I open it. I open it. I open it anywhere and read a line. With a deep sigh of forbearance, I have already told you everything in detail. At the first interrogation as best I could. What can I add? I know you. I know you without you telling me. And I say, get up and walk. You're not alone. You're with me at all days. If you see someone who's in that situation, that they reveal it to you. A child who's always seeking someone to support them, to console them, to give them attention. Do it. Pass it on. Don't be afraid. Because what can they do? If you're giving them a good word, they're not going to spit in your face. If you give them that attention, something that they need, something that shows them they're not alone, and you feel for them because you are not alone anymore, and pass it on. No one has to give you permission to do that. You do it because you're writing a letter to them too. You're passing it on. You're telling about the letter you received. You tell them about the letter you have written, and you add their name to it. Say, this is what happened. This is how I did something better for someone. This is how I did it better for myself. I've accomplished something. So you see what the first step is, you have to listen to the video or read in the book. That's the first step. Then you have to visualize Jesus and listen to what he says, or observe with the eye of your mind what is going on, to visualize it. And then see what the lesson is. What does he do? And if he does it for somebody, he can do it for you. And you get it as if he's talking to you, as if you're observing. You're writing it down. You're like a reporter. You write it down. You write it down, and then you apply it to yourself. You pray on it. Say, Lord, let me see it. If I don't exactly see how I am connected to it, show me. Show me. Let me think about it. And as you ponder it, and maybe you don't think about it, you don't understand it right away, but as you go on, you have an idea. If he did it for others, he'll do it for me. If he does it for the whole human race, he says he's going to do it for the whole human race. I'm part of that human race. If we say he'll do it for sinners, and I feel that I'm not worthy, I say, well, Lord, make me worthy. Let me become a person that I am not now. Let me become the person that I emulate, that I wish I were. You know, not everybody is really satisfied with who they are, or who they think they are. And it's easy to find out who that you meet people that don't think you are who you say you are. Some people don't think you're worth anything. But you know, if anything has worth, everything has worth. If you see a hill of ants, you say, well, this one is not worth much and that one's going the wrong direction and all. They're all ants. We're all human beings. We go one way and the other. And no one really knows what our worth is. Even when I do things that are the best I can do, some people don't think it's good enough. Some people observe me, say, well, I'm not their type, and walk away. But if God made everybody, the whole human race, he didn't make them all look alike. Didn't put them all in a box and put them on the assembly line. made us all different. So he likes our diversity. He didn't make us all exactly the same. We all have different talents. We have different ways of doing things. Do we fit in? Always the question comes up, do I fit in with this life? Do I fit in with these people? Do I fit in with what people expect? The real question is, do I fit in with myself? Do I fit in with God? God, in this word, gives us certain ways of how things are to be fit in. And one thing we do know is that what is good, whatever conscience tells me is good, tells me things that I say is good may not be good. So there's a confusion. But if they're good for me, if they're making me happy, at least that, some of the basics, and doesn't make other people unhappy, doesn't attack them, then it might be okay. So I write these things down, and I observe what I think is good or bad. Make a list. Check it twice. What are the things that have made me unhappy? What are the things that have destroyed my life? When people can't be trusted, when they use words that mean nothing, or are hateful, that hurt. If I use those to others, am I a person that I would like to have in my life or be with? See what I expect from others. So then we come to a statement that do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Live by some kind of rules. So I write it down. I want to act that way towards others, because I don't want to make them feel bad or think that they're hated or unwanted. So that's how I would go about it. And I think that if I don't even know that there's a God, what God would I want if I could create one? That's the one I would create. I want, everybody says, we want peace, we want to be safe. We want to be able to be affirmed. We want our needs fulfilled. Then, those are pretty good ideas of what God should be. Everyone has an idea of what they think God should be. They're always saying, well, it should be this way, it should be that way. Well, those with the good shoulds, and you've got God. Go with the things that destroy, you haven't got God. So, what is the best thing that we have in life? We have relationship. We have love. Relationship means to connect to someone. And to have a good connection. If it's a bad connection, it's like being connected to an electric socket that would destroy you, execute you. It has to have a purpose, a goal that satisfies. That's not dangerous. That's not destructive. What do we want? We want to live. Live a happy life. Not just to live, not just to exist. A snake exists. We like to get rid of it. Same thing with human snakes. Two-legged snakes, poison, whatever spits out poison. So, that's about where I would say, if you really want to be approved and cared for, and it's a human desire, everybody has it, everybody wants it, then that's the way to act. So our actions show what our hopes are. We hope that persons are not dangerous. Then we fulfill that hope for others. So look into the book, turn another page, and see what it says. If it speaks to you, remember, it's not a book to read. It's a book that talks. It talks. It's a word. It's a word that comes from a human being, from a person. That human being may write it, and he says, well, he was inspired by God. Ultimately, it's the Word of God. It's consistent with every human need. Everything that I desire is in there. Everything that is true is there. If not, check it out. Read more. Look at it. Apply it to yourself. And see how many truths you can find. Many things that you see that fulfills your needs. So, listen to these videos and see if it inspires you. If it doesn't, just don't worry about it. Just knock it off. Open that book. Go page by page and see if it tells you anything, if it's speaking to you. Not if it says some good words. Not if it just says words that fit in with your mind, but what fit in to better your life. And that's how we don't read the Bible, read the books of John. We listen to it, we apply it, we absorb it. And if anything inspires you, make it your own. No one's going to accuse you of stealing. God bless you.
Hello, God's beloved. I'm Annabelle Mosley, author, professor of theology, and host of Then Sings My Soul and Destination Sainthood on WCAT Radio. I invite you to listen in and find inspiration along this sacred journey we're traveling together to make our lives a masterpiece and, with God's grace, become saints. Join me, Annabelle Mosley, for Then Sings My Soul and Destination Sainthood on WCAT Radio. God bless you. Remember, you're never alone. God is always with you.
Thank you for listening to a production of WCAT Radio. Please join us in our mission of evangelization. And don't forget, love lifts up when knowledge takes flight.